So I think it's time to decorate this guy. So I couldn't decide what to do with the edges, whether to put some rivets all around the edges of those. They were a bit bare, so gave him a little control panel that side and another little hatch there. And I also decided, well, everyone needs to vent, so I'll put a vent there. Let's just give him a little heat treatment. So a couple of coats of plastic primer on that. I'm now not regretting doing too many rivets. I'm just going to do a little bit more acrylic on the bits that I haven't hit with the spray paint. This colour isn't necessarily going to be, it's just an undercoat. I've dispensed a bit too much at once, so I'm going to go over this in orange, I think, next, to do a very rusty type base coat. So all of the base layer is going to be a rust. It doesn't really matter if there's different paints, because I don't want it to be a solid paint effect really. I'll be quite happy if there's bits, different bits here and different bits there. And then I'm going to do a metallic dry brush of some kind for the edges afterwards. I mean, actually these at the side, I really do want to roughen up these at the side because that looks a bit too uniform. Not being too precious about it. Let's go with that to begin with. I always keep a little bottle, one of these bottles in the cave, because I've got no running water in here, and this has always got clean water in, and I never dip a brush in it or anything. It's just always clean water, and if I knock it over, there's not a problem with it because it never spills. But it's really useful if I do want to clean something. I can just grab that water all the time, and I only have to fill it up every so often. Obviously not to drink or to wash with or to cook a light gazpacho soup, but just for cleaning it's useful to have a little bit of water around all the time. I think I'll try some orange to begin to build up rusty underparts. And then do another one. There's not a lot of pigment in this orange. And this will become the rust underlayer, and then I want to paint it a different colour. So I think it will get there, but at the moment this orange isn't fantastic. But yeah, that's meant to be like a rusty colour anyway. And then I'm going to put a top coat of what would have been the paint, and some of that will have chipped, so that's what I'm aiming to do. I want the look where someone painted something to protect it from the elements, so not to make it look good. Let's say a repainting of a tractor, stop it going rusty, rather than a paint job on the car. That's what I'm after on this. Lived in, as if the local labourer had been told to give that robot over there a lick of paint, will you? Yeah, that's what I'm going for. It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's coming out really awful. Nothing about that, but yeah, it's lived in, isn't it? These bots, they're lived in. They're not pristine, they're used. What we got for the kid to do today, John, on the robot apprentice scheme? I don't know, mate. Tell you what, tell him to go over there and paint that droid. Yeah, it's definitely getting more orange. When I made Airfix kits as a kid, I'd make the Airfix kit and my plane would look lovely, and then I'd go to paint it and the painting would look pretty much like this. And I'd regret I'd ever done it. But don't regret this, because this actually is the look that I'm going for. Honest. So let's see how clever I am at editing. Can I match that with previous version of it that I showed you? Depends whether I can find it. It's definitely orangey, it's sort of a muddy orange. So off camera I've done a little bit of a test on some plastic card. I've got two greens. I did the undercoat, the orange, and I put a little bit of, at the end of it I put a little bit of yellow over it. Yeah, this yellow wasn't fantastic, didn't have much coverage. You can just see in between them. But the green, the sap green, was really good. But it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit bright. And the only other green paint I've got is this Model Air, which is green zinc chrome. And that looks a bit, I don't know, looks a bit too military. I think I've got some Tamir as well, which is, well, that is NATO green. I suppose it's, yeah, that's a bit brighter. So I think I'm going to try this airbrush green and do it like that, and then at the edges let the rust show through. So let's try the first coat of that. This Leisure Model Air, it's a very distinctive smell, quite a sweet smell for acrylic, probably cyanide. So I've been looking forward to this. My favourite Citadel paint used to be called Flesh Wash, and it had amazing effects if you had like a little miniature's face and you just painted it with flesh and then you painted Flesh Wash on it. Try a bit of this wash for the feet, see what the difference is, and round the grill as well. Okay guys, let's watch some paint dry. Actually, I'm not going to use the hairdryer for this because the hairdryer is blowing it out of the pool, so I'll come back later and see how this has gone. So that's looking the part now. Feels a little bit tacky still, but I think it's the coldness in here, to be honest. I think I'm going to do a bit of dry brushing. I'm going to do a slightly paler green, so I don't have any white in this Vallejo stuff to hand anyway. Take some of the grey on it. Alright, that's not the effect that I was after, really. It's brought it up a little bit, but you can definitely see my brush strokes in there, which wasn't really the idea. Now what I want to do now is just do a little bit of silver around some of the edges, just to make out that there's metal underneath it. I think I've got this silver. Not sure what this silver is going to be like, but just want to see. I mean, silver normally is better for dry brushing anyway. I'll just try it on this. See how it takes. Yeah, I think that should be nicer. So let's just risk this a little bit on some of the edges. I very much wanted to do this bit dry brush silver, so let's try that. I think I could keep on adding to this now, but I think that's it. There he is, rusty green industrial tank bot. So thanks for the inspiration for this build, Andy Mecca. Going to link to his website there. There's a little bit of bill making stuff in here as well. Thank you for coming on the journey, those of you who've watched this. I now have ideas for lots of different bots using lots of different techniques, but this was a good learning experience for me. So I hope you like that. A little different from my normal electronic stuff, but both bots and electronic stuff haven't gone away. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Okay, bye.